are not multi. That's one part that we don't like about it. Hey friends, Joe the Farmer here, and in today's video we're going to talk about some covert trail cameras, cellular trail cameras specifically, and these are both by Covert, and they're similar price points, they look the same, very similar names, and one of them is actually pretty good, and one of them is actually pretty terrible. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. If you've been following the channel, I did a review on the Blackhawk LTE. It was a great camera, had some flaws to it, but overall, it was revolutionary. It was a great camera, but Covert's come out with these two lower priced models, and I mean, like I said, one's pretty good and one you just need to avoid. So we're gonna run around the property a little bit, do some things, and we're gonna talk about these cameras, and I'll tell you what I like about them, what I don't like, and I don't want to, you can find all the specifics, all the details, and all the data. We're not going to unbox them or anything like that. We've actually been using these, but I do want to share with you, some real end user experience. I'm not paid anything by Covert to say this stuff. This is not, a sponsored video. I just want to give you some real information on some real products we've been using. So anyway, let's get to work. Well, I should probably say it is a beautiful day today in Tennessee. I'm gonna hop on this Bighorn 550. We've had this for about a month, and so far there's some really good things about it, and there's some things I don't like about it, which I'll do a video like that in the future, kind of giving you the good, the bad, and the ugly. But this is provided to us by Bighorn, so as you see this in the video, you can kind of ask questions if you'd like to know anything about it. We have a video out when we first got it, kind of doing a walkthrough, telling you all the features of it. It's a cool machine, but this is what we're gonna use. What I really like about it though is it has a windshield. Having a windshield is nice. Now I know how the other half lives. All right, let's go get some feed. Okay, what I have here is, this is the Covert WC20-A, which I believe stands for AT&T, the -A, and this is the Covert WC30-A, which again I think stands for AT&T. I can't verify that or not, but these are not multi. That's one part that we don't like about it. These are not multi-carrier cameras like a lot of the newer cameras that are coming out are. These are actually very, very similar features, but for some reason the 30 is older than the 20, which I don't really understand why, but the 30 is the one that has given us the most problems, i.e. the antenna popping off, but that's not the issue. So I was actually testing one of these cameras, and after a very short period of time, it went from full color to grainy black and white to just no photos at all. So I went out there, got the camera, looked it over, changed the batteries, changed the SD card, all of the things. If you ever call customer support for any cellular trail camera, they're going to say, have you checked your SD card? Have you used different batteries? Have you done the firmware update? All this other stuff. The camera was messed up. So finally, I got them to return it. I sent it to Covert, and they very quickly sent me another one. They didn't send me the same one repaired. They sent me a brand new one. Tried that one out, the WC30, and again, within days, I don't even think it was a week, the camera just stopped working. It stopped transmitting photos. Same thing, went from full color to all black and white. So it was like all night pictures during the day, and then just dead. So I said, okay, I'm done with it. I tried contacting them again. They ended up sending this one, and this one doesn't work either. So that one's a piece of junk. But when we start talking about the WC20-A, I wanted to try this one out and say, okay, well, maybe they fixed it. Maybe they did something right. The coolest part about this thing is it kind of looks like a stormtrooper almost. I just think it's kind of cool looking. But I said, let's give this one a shot. I've done it with some other camera brands where I said, you know what, I've gotten burned, but I'll try them again. And a lot of times I regretted it. But with this camera, I actually didn't regret it. This one seems to work the way that they expect it to work. The price point is about $169, $179, depending on where you buy it, which for a trail camera is starting to be relatively normal, right? That's kind of the price point you're looking at. You could find the 119s, you could find the, even a little bit less than that, but a lot of those are going to be, you're lucky to get 1 or 2 seasons out of them. A lot of the competitors there would be like a Tacticam. Tacticam has, it's a great camera, and I've run 7 or 8 of them out here, and I've had 3 of them die. Some of them are kind of like on life support, and I have one I think that works really well. Actually, one of the original Tacticams from like 4 years ago is still running, and I don't know why. That particular one just, it maybe it was built on a better day. But, as I open this camera up, the difference between this camera and some of the other ones like the Blackhawk is it's a plain old, almost like a Game Boy screen. If you all remember the Game Boy, comment down below. Let me know if you know what a Game Boy is. And if you don't, then, you know, the struggle was real back in the day for us when we tried having video games. But there's not a full color screen like there is on the Blackhawk LTE. And I said earlier, you know, the Blackhawk LTE had some issues. One of the main issues is, you know, this takes a lot of batteries. The Blackhawk LTE took like 733 batteries. It was unbelievable, and it would last maybe a few weeks. Like, the battery life was horrible on those cameras. This one seems to actually be okay. You know, we have 12 batteries, which again, some of the new Brownings that we're running are using like 8 batteries, and they never run out of batteries. Like, we did a Browning video where Browning sent us some trail cameras, and I put them out, my gosh, it's probably 6 months ago. I still haven't changed any of those batteries. So that tells you how solid of a camera and the processor that doesn't drain the batteries is. This camera, it will use a lot of batteries. It's not nearly as bad as some of the others, but the way that I would recommend this camera is that if you're already in the Covert ecosystem, or ecosystem, however you pronounce it, but if you're in that ecosystem, you want to get something cheaper, you love the Blackhawks, which they're great cameras, they really are. They just use too many batteries. If you're using external batteries or some kind of solar system that works for you, and you want to add a Covert, well, these are less expensive. They do work pretty well, and it's far superior than the WC30. That camera, I don't know what it is with it. I have not seen them in stores at all, so maybe they just pulled it. I don't know, but this one I'm seeing a lot more of, and this one I think that if you're in the Covert family, you're bought in, you know, it is a solid camera. It's very, very well built. Aside from the antennas popping off every once in a while, this one seems to want to live a little bit longer. The sensors work well. The photos are pretty clear. You can change all the megapixels. You can do all kinds of stuff with it like you can with pretty much all other trail cameras. Not a whole lot of innovation here. It's just a lower price point Covert, and, you know, it works pretty well. I didn't want to spend a ton of your time today going through all the differences between the two. They're very, very, very similar. It's just one works and one doesn't. And this is the first one of these that we've had. If you have the WC20A or V, if Verizon or whatever it is, if you have one of these and you're having a good experience, let us know. Leave a comment down there and tell everybody else in the community what your experience has been. If you have one of these or even one of the WC30s, if you've had a great experience with that, then maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe I had a couple duds and it is what it is. But I just want to share with you all, you know, we do a lot of trail camera reviews on here. We've done Tacticam, Covert, Stealth Cam, Spy Point, Treeline. You go down the list, we've done a bunch of cameras, you know, obviously Browning too. And I think that there's some really, really good ones out there, and there's some junk out there. And it kind of makes me just want to call out the junk and say, like, listen, this is my experience as a landowner. We've got about 125 acres out here in Middle Tennessee, and I have a lot of different brands because I enjoy using different brands and sharing that with you and showing you, you know, what else is out there. I don't want to be all in on one ecosystem. I like having multiple different apps, multiple different cameras doing different things. So let's talk about cell plans. Now, the number one question I get on our videos in the comment section when I start talking about cellular trail cameras is, will this work with my cell phone? Your cell phone has nothing to do with these cellular trail cameras. These cameras have their own SIM card. They do their own thing. It is its own little cell phone plan. Okay, so whatever cell phone sitting in your pocket or you're watching this video from, that does not matter. You can have Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, Mint Mobile, whatever it is. You know, it doesn't matter. This is going to have its own plan. What you do want to do is figure out what carrier works best on your property. Most cameras that are coming out this year in 2023 are dual carrier, which means that it will find the best carrier and connect. Some more, you know, established but slow to evolve brands like Covert, I mean, they're not trying to make the most innovative product every year. That's not their thing. They want to build a good product and just put it out, except for the WC30. I don't know that they have cameras with dual carrier. Maybe they do. If they do, let me know. But Browning has it. Stealth Cam's starting to have it. There's a ton of different carriers that have the dual carrier stuff now, so you don't have to buy a Verizon or an AT&T. But figure out what carrier works best on your property, and that's the one you want to go with. You know, cell towers, they're not the same everywhere, especially when you start talking about going to rural areas. And, you know, there's some places on my property where Verizon works great, some where AT&T works great, and it's always kind of a toss-up. And it seems like it changes with the weather. I don't understand all that stuff. Cell plans, it's about $10 a month to have, I believe, 500 pictures. I'll put it here in the under the screen so you can kind of see what it is exactly. So if you're looking to stay in the Covert ecosystem and stay in that family, I would go with the WC20A. Stay away from the WC30A. It's just not. It's just. I've had a terrible experience with it. I don't think the quality was there. I don't know if they had a bad batch of it, and I don't want to see get a bad batch. And they're not going to send you this one if the other one doesn't work. So go with the one that your friend Joe the farmer says has worked. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to get out there. I'm going to put some mineral in some different places and get some feed out there on the ground. It's been cold. It's been rainy. It's been wet. But now it's starting to bloom up a little bit, and I'm seeing a lot of deer walking around here out the windows of the house, and they look hungry. So I'm going to make sure I feed them. But appreciate you watching this video. I'll catch you in the next one. Joe the farmer. We out.